You're an international student. You're graduating now. You have made a lot of international friends. You sit there for a minute and you realize, wait a second, I have not made even one Danish friend. And I have never been into a Danish home. Alright? Here I have for you 10 tips on how to make really quickly Danish friends. Tip number 1. Without any pre-agreement, without any arrangement, you go to a Dane's home, you knock on their door, and I promise you they will not think it's the police or Jehovah's Witness, and you invite yourself for dinner. And if by any chance, I mean any chance, you get yourself invited for a dinner half a year later, this is what you need to do as tip number 2. If you are invited for a dinner, make sure you arrive as late as possible, maybe 1 hour later. Danes will love you for that. Tip number 3. When you arrive at a dinner, make sure you do not shake anyone's hands and you do not look in the eyes. Danes don't really do that. Tip number 4. Make sure you do not talk about the weather with the Danes. I promise you, talking about the weather, it's a taboo in Denmark. Nobody really does it. Okay? Tip number 5. You approach a Dane and you ask them honestly this. Do you believe in Jesus as our Savior? Danes love to talk about Jesus all day. It's not the weather that they talk about. It's always Jesus. Tip number 6. Make sure and ask Danes if they're divorced. And only if they say yes, ask them why. Because nobody really divorces in Denmark. Alright? Tip number 7. If a Dane, by any chance, offers you hot potatoes, watch out. It's a trap. It's a trap for you because hot potatoes in Denmark for internationals is nothing else than a crash course into the Danish language. So be careful about that. Tip number 8. It's possible that at a certain point you run out of topics. Here, Danes might offer you a beer or some alcohol. But be careful, because the moment Danes drink alcohol, they don't really open up. Tip number 9. When you are with a Dane, make sure you emphasize what a great person you are. As an international, if you speak about yourself all the time, how great you are, what an amazing person you are, Danes will love you for that. Tip number 10. If by now you have a little bit, just a tiny bit of a smile on your face, that's it, you have made it. Because you detected the sarcasm and irony in all the other tips. And this is what it is. Sarcasm and irony is the absolute golden ticket to a Danish heart. It is quite hard to meet the Danes. And there could be many reasons, but I think one of the reasons that it's so difficult to meet the Danes is because they are very private people. Privacy in Denmark is something sacred. There are so many things that are just simply private. Do you believe in God? It's a private matter. Are you sick? It's nobody's business. You are allowed to be sick, so it's a private matter. Do you have a pet? Nobody's allowed to touch your pet without your permission, so it's a private matter. Have you joined the swinger club? Maybe it's a little bit strange, but it's private, because it's nobody's else's business. Are you participating in nude marathons? After work, of course. It's nobody's business, so it's private. And the list can go on. Danish mentality is a little bit like a typical Danish farm. It's square and fair. It's enclosed. It feels safe to be inside. It's highly organized and well managed. It's very autonomous and independent. Everyone is looking inwards. Once inside, there are no taboos. With a back to the world a little bit. Yeah? Once you are inside, you are welcome. Everyone can be trusted and is an equal. Not very interested with the business of others. And of course, it is very hugely inside. It is no surprise here that there is so much focus on working in small groups. It's a kind of difficult to have hygge in larger groups. But what is actually hygge? It is the most important Danish word there is. It's some kind of a feeling of good and warmth and safe and comfortable and of course Danish. While uhyggelig, or something that is not hygge, it's scary, it's unsafe, it's uncomfortable, it's un-Danish, it's outside the farm. So if something is un-Danish and hyggelig, it's bad. And if something is Danish, then it's good. Den ferie, den isko, den frost, den egg, den spil, den kort, den bord, den glass. Anyway, I remember very well I was once at a talk, and the presenter asked everyone, how long do you think it takes in Denmark to be invited for coffee? And people came up with all sorts of answers. And they all said maybe a week or two. And in the end he said something like, from 6 years to never. This of course reminds me of the coconut and peach theory. And if you think about a peach, it's very soft. It has a seed inside, and so on. So there are peach cultures. And in peach cultures, maybe perhaps the one you come from, it is really easy to get to know people. It's very fast to be invited for coffee or tea or to come in someone's home. But the more you go inside in a peach culture, the more you'll hit some kind of taboos. You'll hit the seed of things you cannot talk about, or maybe a lot of politically correct things and so on. All right? On the other side, coconut cultures, right? Very hard on the outside, but soft on the inside. This is a little bit like Danish culture. It takes really long time to get to know the Danes. But the moment you get to know one, they'll tell you stuff you don't want to know. But you have made it. You actually got a degree in Denmark. Congratulations. You have actually gone through a long period of hardship where you moved from a completely perhaps different background to this one, and you got yourself a degree. You can only be proud of yourself. From now on, the sky is the limit. Good luck in the future.